Secret friends, unite!
One. Welcome to the Secret Friends Unite podcast, episode 507. This is your guide to the geek side, and this is also the year of 2025. I am Todd Oxtra, joining you from Minnesota, home of the future, hopefully, NFC North champs and the number one seed. Joined by Charlie Carden, living the life in Michigan.
I'm dancing. Want to point out, watching us on YouTube, it's Hoth Day here because it is so cold in the Midwest. Not as cold here in Michigan as it obviously is in Minnesota, but Echo Base, Rebel Alliance, plus 2025 is the year of rebellion for me, if you catch my drift. But yes, we're here. We're excited. And we have a guest, Todd, who's your friend, our friend.
Yeah, and it's nice to finally have LeRon Dawkins on. He's from the Boss Rush Network, which is having a big day coming up with the Bossies. Charlie and I are both going to be presenting along with Mark, so it's very exciting. And LeRon, you'll have to remind me, I know we know of each other. I don't know if I think we might have podcasted once together. And I'm like, oh, we should have you on. And that was probably like 3 years ago.
You guessed it on the Boss Rush podcast. I cannot remember which specific episode, so please forgive me. It's been many moons ago and stuff like that. But we had a false start, last year with me trying to be a guest on here. I'm finally here. Finally,
welcome.
It's so great to have. We're close knit with Corey for many years. We actually met Ed in person, which was kind of crazy, and we've had a lot of the other team members on. So it's great to have you on as well.
Yeah,
he is. He's still doing his thing.
We did karaoke with Ed in Chicago. Was it 3 or 4 years ago?
It was. So Ed karaoke a song I don't think you're supposed to karaoke because it didn't go there's certain songs you just don't karaoke because they don't translate well to it's got to be like a song people know. But if you pick something from the vault and it's 5 minutes long, not a good pick. So Ed needs some help.
It's all about crowd work. But at any rate, very exciting. We're talking about 2025 today. Todd,
but before
you're doing this,
we always ask for new guests. We always ask their geek origin story.
Excellent.
Am I frozen again?
You are frozen again.
You are frozen, yeah.
Let it go.
Okay, we'll see how long this goes without the video. I'll just be like that for the show. That's fine.
Okay, very good. Well, whenever I'm not around and Mark has to sub me in, he just uses a stock photo. You mean you're familiar. But anyway, all right.
From beyond.
Well, we'll continue. We'll continue. But LeRon, tell us about how you got into this.
I feel like I'm just geek by birth, or at least it's in my DNA or something like that. I'm just one of those nerds. Basically, when I was a kid, everything that was nerdy or sci-fi or techie and stuff I was always into it. So everything from Japanese anime, I love Robotech and Macross, by the way, to comic books. Nice. I was a big X-Men fan in the golden age, like the Jim Lee era of X-Men. And then of course everyone falls out of comic books at some point. I just never got back into it. I'm a self-proclaimed super Trekkie, even though I just got quizzed not too long ago when I feel like I failed because I couldn't name a random episode just now.
Come on. That's some next level stuff. I mean, I wouldn't even hit everything. Every once in a while I get schooled. I was telling you, and I'm very excited about this, that by the time you listen to this episode, Code 47 for this week will be out. We had Sean Farrick from Trek Culture on as a guest. He's somebody I would not want to go toe to toe with. But he's very gracious. So yeah, I'm not also bring what you got. You're going to be on Code coming up in a couple of episodes. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yes. Yeah. Also, because of my affiliation with Boss Rush Podcast, of course, I'm a big time gamer and stuff like that. I'm a big Monster Hunter fan. I've been playing that series since its inception back in 2004. And yes, I'm getting ready for
PSP.
No, the PS2, the very first one.
Ooh, that's right. Yeah,
the very first one. Yeah. I was around with Monster Hunter and stuff like that. Anything tech, gaming, stuff like that. I kind of have a love for it and stuff like that. And like nice. I said, just fun. Thank you for having me.
You got it. Awesome. Well, we're going to launch into this gig, but as usual, we do that little thing that we call in the business of paying the bills. And that's when we talk about the awesome people in our Patreon squad, our secret friend squad over at patreon.com/secret friends unite. You can try us out for a week for free and then stay on board for as little as $2 a month, as I'm very fond of quoting the Blues Brothers. That's a lot of entertainment for $2 a month because you get ad-free shows, exclusive content, early shows, and all kinds of fun stuff. You can also over there gift our show to someone over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite/gift. These wonderful folks are the people who make it happen. My buddy Derek Trevelyan, the figure dude, Francie, who's my wife's hairdresser, Luke Lore, Mr. Xbox Expansion Pass, and my wonderful Uncle Tim. John Sedorf kicks off the Friends with Benefits level. Also our wonderful friends Kelly and Crayley, the Phoenix Sisters Entertainment. A little bit more about something they've got going on later this month in a moment. Brendan Myers, Corey and HD, your own soul brother over there at Boss Rush. Matthew Keel, my journalist pal and the guy who gets us those great spotlight interviews, Kurt Krug. And very excited that one of our trial members is now a fully fledged member. This was somebody who was on Code with us a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine from social media, Tanya Lee. And because she's brand spanking new, we're giving her a superpower. I'll have to tip her off in case she is not listening to this on a regular basis so that she'll tune in. So, Todd, you've checked Tanya out. You've learned a little bit about her, just her being on the show. What kind of superpower would she have?
So, Charlie, tell me a little bit about Tanya first.
She lives in Alabama, so she's a Southern belle. Great accent. She is in the IT world. She's a teacher. She's written a book about that had a basis. It was either fiction or nonfiction in Irish culture. So she is a multifaceted individual. She is a Gen Xer just like us. She's just overall a very cool individual.
Okay, so let me see. Knowing the little I do know about her now, I will say that she will. Okay, her superpower is that she is always up to date on all of her media watching and reading. That is her ability. She can just absorb it. Doesn't take any time. Like new comics out, it's just completely absorbed within her body. It's just automatic. So it frees up all that time. She doesn't have to worry about FOMO and she doesn't have to worry about piles of shame. She is, we'll call her the mediastress.
Mediastress.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Why not?
I'm going to go with, I also know that Tanya is very passionate about social issues. And there's been a lot of hashtags Eat the Rich in her social media feed lately. So I'm going to say her power is smashing the patriarchy. Bam! And by any means necessary. You go, girl. Lady.
Nice.
Ma'am.
Nice.
Madam. Sorry, don't want to sexualize it. You go, my friend.
I'm trying to figure out how that would work. Because if she does that, then
well, Todd,
are we just getting like the Barbie world? I mean, are we getting that? I mean, I'm just trying to figure it all out.
You and I are part of the problem. That's why. Now, does LeRon get a stab? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I was going to say just the last thing on yours, Charlie. If you read Why the Last Man, getting rid of the dudes doesn't always make things better.
I wouldn't say getting rid of the dudes. That's a little extreme. But smash the patriarchy. Bring equality to the masses. I love it. I don't know. Are we going to give LeRon a stab? LeRon?
LeRon always gets. Yeah, the guest always gets to choose a superpower. Yeah.
Oh, I get to choose one. Oh,
yeah.
It's a wonderful world of thinking on your feet.
Oh man. Superpower. Oh God. Why? Why would you do that?
Because it's fun.
I'm going to blame Todd. I will plead the fifth.
I don't want to take too long, and I don't want to have it filled with dead air. Crap. I don't know. Like what?
I got one.
Oh, thank you. Please take it away.
I think she's got the magical power to turn red states to blue. Because I know how upset she was that she was in a red state during this.
So she can do that every 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, did Alabama go blue?
No, it's red, but she's blue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait. I was like, wait.
Emma
When we
went
watched,
blue. I think
I was
we'd be
like,
living in Bizarro world. I don't think that's going to go down.
yeah. Like I have to smash my friends' hopes and dreams all the time. X's is never going blue, not in our lifetime.
Wild. All right. Well, without further ado, if we didn't have these folks, we wouldn't have a Patreon. That is the awesome Nias family out there in the Twin City. Sean, Stella, and Henry. Todd, I understand that you and Sean are back online with the fantasy football show you've been doing, yeah?
Yep, we wrapped our basically ending our season, but we're getting together. We're actually on a mega cast on Friday. Going to be breaking down the playoffs and coming up with a game to play for fantasy football with the playoffs. So that'll be out there, hopefully up by Saturday. So if you're a fantasy football fan or NFL fan, yeah, check that out.
Good deal. Well, Todd, we've got a little bit more. We did this last week talking about something Kelly's working on. So take it away.
Yeah, so Kelly is really big in giving back. One of the things she does is the Multiverse Fundraiser. It's a virtual con, author, and charity fundraiser all rolled into one package. This year, they've teamed up with Comic Books for Kids, a charity providing child-friendly comic books to children in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. to raise funds for their cause. On January 24th to the 26th, they will have both pre-recorded and live Comic-Con style content, including celebrity comic and writing guests that include Creek Wilson, Lee Williams, Jerry Gaylord, John Cosper, and more. Visit themultiversefundraiser.com. That's funraiser.com. For more information and instruction on how to both tune in and contribute, I've also got that link in our show notes.
Fantastic. Good deal. And we love working with Kelly. She collaborates with us quite frequently on the Patreon. And she's just overall a great lady living up there in Wisconsin. All right. This week's cover, April of 1990. Oh my goodness. I was a mere lad of 13 in 8th grade. And I know I was reading this comic. Marvel had a title called What the? ? Exclamation point. So this would be What If kind of merged with Mad Magazine, I think would be a way that I would describe it.
Sure.
But they have chosen to get ahead of the Marvel versus DC, which big blast out. What was that? JLA versus the Avengers that happened in the late 90s or early
That's
2000s. Right. But at any rate, they have taken their stylized Marvel characters fighting stylized DC characters in the Revengers versus the Just-A-League, the Justa League. And it's a smorgasbord to the eyes. I see stylized versions of the Vision, Wonder Man, my personal favorite, Thor, Captain America, Flash, Superman, bowl cut Green Lantern Man, Batman. So this is wild. My
question is, who's that with the hands like crossed, like just peeping the whole thing? Is that supposed to be Stan Lee?
Oh, I don't know. It kind of looks like that thing that looks like Wario, doesn't it? This is mustache
Wario?
a little wild. Yeah, Wario.
It's probably one of the writers, but it could be Stan Lee though with the mustache. LeRon, I think you might be right.
Yeah. It's with his teeth are great. He looks like a madman. Look at those eyebrows.
He's like, look what I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about this book. So it's exactly what Charlie tells you, but I want to tell you who the cast of the Revengers and Justa League are.
Oh my gosh!
We got Charlie America, Iron Man, Sor as Thor, Hawkeye, Black and Blue Panther, Silas Mariner, let's see, Quicksilver. The Least, What a Man, Tigera, She-Bulk, Visine, Mr. Fantastical, The Professor and Marianne, Dr. Duel, Larvis, the Butler, Justa League, we got Hawkmensch, Superb Man / Park Bench, Flash in the Pan, Marshmallow Manhunter, Mr. Batmom, A Wet Man, Longatic Man, Bland Canary, Golly, Blue Beetle, like a beetle, like the Beatles, Charlie, Guy the Gardener, What a Man, What a Woman, Cindy Jan, Marsha, a bunch, Dr. Face, Green Arrow, and Aberrant. Wow.
How did they get all of this into 22 pages at a $1.25?
And guess who drew the cover, Charlie?
It's not Fred Hembrecht, but it's a very familiar style, but I can't put my finger on it. Who is it?
It's actually John Byrne.
Oh, I do see that in the corner.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of cut off. Oh, John Byrne, a man who fell very far from grace, which I always feel bad about because I admire his talent so much. But ooh,
Wait,
Scott Lobdell wrote it.
Was there a scandal?
Oh, very much so. But we don't need to get into that.
No, we don't need to get into that.
We'll talk offline. But he canceled himself about 15 years ago. Just
he did what a lot of old white guys do.
Yeah.
That's all we have to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott Lobdell was the writer who also then went on to take over the X-Men after Chris Claremont departed the X-Men. So
serious talent in here. So if I'm not mistaken, by the way, this is the Marvel Mag of Mirth and Mayhem, in case you were wondering. I do believe there are issues of this over on the Marvel Unlimited. So if you're interested, by the sound of it, take a peek. But speaking of Mirth and Mayhem, we get all of our hottest news, real news, not silly parody news, from our number one news correspondent, talking about Madam Web, now 125 years young. She's down at the corner of Hollywood and Vine with all the latest news for us. Let's do it.
Now it's time for Madam Web's rumors and news. Take it away, boys.
Thank you, Madam Web. Welcome to 2025, Madam Web. We are joined by a new face. LeRon is here. Just remember, Madam Web, you always get nervous when there's new faces, especially gentlemen.
Look, don't touch.
And she has a thing for, as we start calling ourselves like silver foxes, LeRon, we get a little salt and pepper in. So she's only 125, though. So I don't know. I don't know. It's, it's not that far off,
I like more mature ladies. I do.
No,
there you go.
They don't get much more mature than that.
just be aware, though. She lives in her van. She always brings her laundry with her on dates in case things go well, and then she can use your laundry room.
So, okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
You can only dream.
Oh well.
All right. What do you got for us?
She brought us the first story this week, which is very interesting because it is not uncommon for people who have been in superhero universes to be many characters. The most common one is probably, Johnny Storm turning into Captain America. How awesome was that? Obviously, different owners of those universes, but, Chris Evans was able to play both those parts. Now we've got the same thing happening in DC where Jason Momoa, my man, playing Arthur Curry as Aquaman in the Snyderverse, will now be I would say, the character he was probably meant to play, and that is the main man, Lobo. Lobo is considerably one of those comedic dark characters from the 80s. He was taken from the original Omega Man comic and kind of made into a parody type character. He did a lot of one-offs where we were over the top, violent, sexual, weird. He was Keith Giffen.
Would you say it's like Deadpool? Would you like
kind of like Deadpool? Yeah. In a lot of ways, they're very similar and kind of like goofy, but and Lobo's kind of over time has just kind of changed himself. There's a lot of great Lobo comics, and Jason Momoa has always said that that's the character he loves the most, and he always wanted to play. So James Gunn does not let any previous actors not get work because of whatever they've done in the past. So he is coming on to do this. Now he will be in the Supergirl movie, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which Charlie and I both read, which was an amazing comic about Supergirl. So it's really awesome that Supergirl will be a main part of the DC universe going forward. And the fact that Lobo's showing up will be a lot of fun seeing Supergirl kick the loving tar out of kind of a sexist dude, old school dude. So I love this. He's kind of like the Duke Nukem of the DC universe.
He looks a bit like Wolverine crossed with Deadpool, crossed with like Ashy Larry from the Chappelle Show. He's so look at him, right?
He rides a bike. He rides like a hog.
I was not expecting Ashy Larry. I was not expecting that.
Well, you know what? Expect the unexpected.
He's got a hook chain. He's almost like Kratos in God of War because he's got that very albino look.
I'm over here looking at it now, and I can't unsee it now.
I think I broke our guest. I apologize.
And then we have to put the Chappelle quote. You got any of them? Yeah.
Any of them Lobos? Tyrone Bigham.
So here we go. So we are getting this Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow movie is going to obviously star Millie Alcock, who was basically play the young version of I'm trying to remember her name in House of Dragons.
I can't remember the characters. The blonde one. She played
Yes,
the young version of the blonde one.
Yep, Greg Gillespie is going to direct this movie. Matthias Schoenaert is going to play the villain Krem, who was created for the comic, and then Eve Ridley from Three Body Problem will play Ruthie Marinol, who is kind of like her counterpart that Supergirl teamed up with. So this is pretty cool. I'm excited for this, and this movie is supposed to be in theaters June 2026, and I like that the fact that we'll have a little bit of a comedic part to it with Lobo and not just be all serious. So I like that with James Gunn. He's playing with us. Yeah, the script is apparently in the works. Or done, and this is based on a comic book we all know and love. So with that, LeRon, Charlie and Alf are very familiar with the comic, all those things. When you see all this stuff with Momoa coming in, what do you think?
Honestly, I feel like Momoa is probably one of the best gets that could be for Lobo. In all seriousness, because like if you look at him, like not saying that his performance as Aquaman was bad or terrible or anything. It just, I don't know, it just didn't really seem to fit. Like the guy is a free soul and like one of those spirits and stuff like that. So he did a nice infusion of like his own personality into the Arthur Curry character, stuff like that. But I don't know, like. Maybe it's because like the JLU cartoon just like really spoiled me on how Aquaman is supposed to be and stuff like that. So it's always been one of those things. I look at him like, okay, cool, but could it be stuff like that? But him being Lobo and just looking at his pedigree from of course Khal Drogo and Game of Thrones, the first 2 seasons of C, which did that get canceled?
I don't know. Apple TV Plus, you can check it out right now. It's free this weekend.
Yeah. But like seeing him as characters like that, stuff from vagabonds to bandits and stuff like that. This is perfect for him, and I feel like also he fits the body type for Lobo.
It's tough for me to disengage from the Super Friends. Basically, I see Aquaman as kind of a thinly-ish, minor muscular build blonde guy. But the other end of it is we had a pre-Reacher Alan, what the hell's the guy's name who plays Reacher?
Alan Richman.
In Smallville, where he was not quite so Ripley. So I kind of picture him like that, not like Momoa, where he's like,
a stocky dude,
the brick S house, if you prefer, you know what I mean? Just really built like who knows what.
Honestly, like Momoa would be perfect casting for 2018 Kratos from God of War. He'd be perfect casting.
You go.
Absolutely, yeah. It's funny. I think
isn't that one of those video game movies that they already tried to make and it flopped? Or
no.
Okay.
Wait. They have
an HBO series coming out from Ron D. Moore.
That's right. Then it'll be fantastic because that man can do no wrong. He is my hero.
I think Momoa was cast as Aquaman because Snyder just wanted to make Aquaman so like different than everybody's preconceived notions. Like, look what I did to Aquaman. I made him cool.
Exactly. And it was a game of one-upmanship, and we all saw how that worked out for Snyder. He just
I don't know. Like, I don't know when we hear Snyder say stuff like I made him cool. Like, Aquaman hasn't been our dad's Aquaman. By the time we started reading comics and stuff like that, Aquaman became a cool ass character, and he definitely became cool when all of a sudden the trident was his hand.
Very 90s with the gritty hair.
David wrote that comic. There was another cool series where he wore like this really amazing blue like camouflage suit that was awesome for the ocean. So he has been pretty much a real character since like probably mid 80s.
But then again, I can understand why there's a conception that come on, like the guy tossed a fish. I can understand that. I can understand that.
Always mocked for it.
Always mocked for it. So that's cool, and it's crazy to think that this is you're so gun shy by things like Star Wars. Like, we're going to make movies with. This is a movie that is coming out next year. Now that it's 2025, we can say that. So this is happening, and this is very exciting. So cool. More on this as it develops. I'll move us right along. I will admit I dropped a couple of rumors in here because I couldn't find a lot of other hardcore news going on. But I did read this earlier this week. Industry Scooper via comic book movie. Okay, relatively, I guess, reputable, so to speak, is casting word that a Ghost Rider series could be in development over at Disney Plus. Possibly leading into the anti-hero Midnight Suns film or spawning off from that. So Todd is famously not a fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. My wife loved it, which means we've seen every episode. They had a character arc of a version of Ghost Rider, the Robbie Reyes version, in, I don't know, it was which season. And actually, I'm trying to remember correctly, they also had a cameo from the classic Johnny Blaze with the big flaming skull and the big leather jacket, which is pretty much how I see the character as it appears at the top of this page. So, LeRon
has a question.
Yeah, I was going to say, LeRon, oh, look at that. He's actually using the question hand, whatever. Bro, speak to me.
Todd, what is your problem with Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? What is your problem?
Oh shit!
I don't want to fight you on air, but I feel like Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is probably one of the freshest projects that the MCU had ever done up till now.
Here we go.
Did I just get muted?
I will be kind, because I will say this: ABC is not the right place for Marvel shows, and you could tell. They tried to make it like more of an ABC type show.
Yeah.
If you think what Netflix did, where I felt like it was more of a show for, we're not going to make this for everybody. We're going to make it for like a little bit more of a more mature audience. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. felt like a show that was from a different time. And it would have been the best thing in like 1999 when David Hasselhoff's Nick Fury movie was coming out.
Oh my god!
I thought a lot of the versions in that character, like Deathlock, I thought looked like he came from a garbage bin.
Deathlock was rough.
Graviton was not that
rough.
great. That's what I'm saying. A lot of the things I felt like they did it on the cheap because they didn't have the budget, and they also couldn't really truly tie into the MCU. So then they said, "Oh, we're going to give you Inhumans because nobody cares about the Inhumans." So then that storyline was really weird with Kyle MacLachlan as Mr. Hyde, essentially.
And then we really found out that nobody cares about Inhumans when they try to do their own thing. I will, if I can chip in just to further bash ABC, not bashing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because we considered maybe doing a rewatch because we were curious, but we just watched Agent Carter again recently, which was brilliant, but because it got low ratings, you're not seeing my air quotes, they killed it. But ratings in the streaming world now, you can really know who's watching things, not just Nielsen households, which is, I worked in media for years. It's very ass backwards in the current parlance. So I'm thumbs down on ABC for the way they treated it. But I enjoyed the show. It was very much favorite of April's, my wife. So yeah,
I think you would get a completely better version now if it was a Disney Plus show.
Yeah,
I just think
I was getting ready to interject that. I was like, I wonder how it would have been, like if it was originally a Disney Plus title and stuff like that. But I don't know. Like I love Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like as a matter of fact, it's a constantly rewatched show of mine, which is wild.
Wow.
Which is, I don't know, like I just fell in love with the characters, and the characters was what kind of like pulled me along throughout the series and stuff like that, all the way through to the finale and stuff like that. Like, I mean, like now I'm one of those guys that I will admit that, like if there's a good finale or good wrap up to a show or movie, like it might just bring a tear to my eye. And I feel like
me too.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., one of those shows. Star Trek Discovery, another one of those shows, brought a tear to my eye, the way it ended and stuff like that, but I also understand, Todd, I'm 100% with you on that. I just thought you hated the show just because you hate the show.
I like parts of it. I was in and out of the show, and I'm like, okay, they're going this route. I didn't care for that Inhuman storyline. I did like how they handled Ghost Rider. I thought that was pretty good.
I was going to say that show grew its own legs, cojones and everything when season 4 happened. Everything from Ghost Rider to the LMDs to the Agents of Hydra. Oh my god, that was.
I'm telling you,
that was when the show was really put on the map at that point.
We're definitely going back and watching it now.
I think, and it was also, remember, this was the time when Kevin Feige didn't control Marvel TV, so it was still Ike Perlmutter and Jeff Webb. So that was also a disconnect because all the shows that they did at that time were just a mixed bag of kind of quality. I mean, you got like that Cloak and Dagger show, then you got that you got that one show. The Hellstroms.
I never even saw that one. All right, well let's try to get the train back on the tracks here. I'm sorry, but this is an era talking, and this is the Brad Winderbaum, who is responsible for Agatha All Along, which I assume everybody loved, has gone on to say, I love the Danny Ketch era of Ghost Rider. I think there are a lot of people who are basically into it. And think about it in the light of what Disney Plus has not been afraid to do, going on the dark side. Werewolf by Night, Agatha was pretty dark in a lot of places, and that they could bring that kind of quality to this. So I hope, again, I hate to put stock in rumors because you could get bit by it, but it's a matter of what we do here. We have to play the rumor game. So I'm thumbs up for this rumor. Let's get some Ghost Ridering. That's all I got to say about that.
I don't want a series. I just want a special like Werewolf at Night. Just like Moonlight, I liked parts of Moonlight, but I thought it got drug out too far. I want these characters just to be introduced in a very quick, condensed way that kind of gives you, this is the character, what they're all about.
Yeah.
And then when they are, then you can do like maybe a series with more of them, because I think there's more potential interesting things you can do with all those characters together, build some synergy around them.
It's kind of the difference between, I say this all the time, a 5-issue limited series and then a series they start that gets canceled after like 9 issues, where maybe some people get interested, but not enough. And then it's dead. And then you never, like, I still get hurt by the Web Warriors, which was spun off of the Spider-Verse back in 2015. I loved it, but they ran it for like 11 issues and then it was dead and it never came back as anything. So I would have loved a 5-issue complete story that I could hang on the wall. Would have been great. Anyway.
LeRon, any Ghost Rider wishes and dreams?
Just as long, honestly, just as long as it's, back when I was a young adult, like I did love the Nick Cage Ghost Rider movie, but just as long as they don't do something like that, I think we'll be fine. And just as long as they do something that doesn't really, pardon my language, does not shit on like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like Ghost Rider arc, because I'm telling you, I think that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is what really put Ghost Rider back on the map. And I loved Gabriel Luna in the character of that. It wasn't Johnny Storm, but like the fact that it was a version of Ghost Rider and stuff like that. As long as they're gonna do something that like just like completely discredits that, make it can stand on its own with that one, I'm fine, stuff like that. But if they make it like a running farce, like I'm gonna have problems. Which I don't think at this point. I don't think the MCU is missing, even with the projects that basically were like failures and stuff like that. I love the MCU. Like as long as they're not doing something that's just absolutely horrendous with like all the characters, because like I like this universe of the MCU. As a matter of fact, if I was a young kid and stuff, and this is comic books, I would probably be reading every single one of these damn comics.
Right. Nice. Yeah, for sure. All right. I'd love to talk about this next one, but I can't monopolize. Todd, what's my next fine rumor and news?
So the Fantastic Four, of course, we're going to start getting some rumors about the movie. And actually, I saw, and it was somebody had filmed it at one of the Marvel events in Brazil. Did you see it? Did you guys film it where they actually showed like scenes?
Yeah, totally.
Unreleased scenes of the movie. So
no, I did not see that.
It's kind of cool. You can find it if you want to, but basically it does like, this is the Brazil footage. This is like the Disney event footage. Kind of cool. It gives you a very good tone for what the movie's going to be like. So I'm like, I like what I'm seeing. So apparently some details are coming out about the plot of the reboot now, which is interesting. She said this is coming from Mr. My Time to Shine online. He said, I guess it's a she. She claims that the team disbands after the birth of Franklin Richards, but comes back together when the Silver Surfer arrives on Earth to warn them about Galactus. So essentially, awesome. We're retired because we're going to take care of a kid.
Yeah.
All those kids get in the way.
Well, I mean, that's kind of weird because it makes sense if it was just Reed and Sue, but the other two could maybe the other two go on and have careers on their own, and then they're like, well, that now this Silver Surfer, who's going to be Ruth from Ozark, who I adore, will show up with her dirty mouth and do her Silver Surfer thing, and then Galactus, who's going to be is it Ralph Iverson who was in Nosferatu that we talked about last week? Wasn't he the doctor?
He was the doctor.
Yeah. It sounds like a plausible plot line. It feels like maybe they put it maybe like in the beginning of the second act that it would come back, like, oh, the whole first act is them running around doing stuff, like, or maybe just a montage that shows all the adventures they got into. Talk about cameo central. This it seems like a good setup because having a kid means they have that much more to fight for, though how much more do you need to fight for when you're fighting for the survival of Earth? But I've got so much placed in this movie because the Fantastic Four, I've got Fantastic Four memorabilia all over this room, kind of all over this house. I love the Fantastic Four. I mean, second to none for me. The Thing is probably my third favorite Marvel character. I'm Spidey, I'm Cap, I'm the Thing. I love the Thing. So I have a lot invested in this. So I just want to believe that with the MCU having had so much more success than they've had failures, that they won't let us down with this. So I'm on board. It sounds like a good concept.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, kids typically ruin things in movies. So hopefully it's just a baby Franklin and not like a precocious little kid who, does pod racing and takes down the Empire.
Well, I mean, Franklin is also another bridge to getting mutants into the MCU.
Yeah, the Omega level mutant. He's
altering reality things. Yeah.
Great. So him and Scarlet Witch can just have a play date or something.
Right. Oh boy,
absolutely. Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting. They plan this out. It just makes sense, and it'll be interesting to see how deep they go into like their origin story versus like, is it just going to be more of like a clips and things about the Fantastic Four shows their history, and then it just says, here we are. We've given you 15 minutes of what they are and how they became it, so we don't have to go deep. So I don't know. I prefer that versus,
Right. I'm actually a fan of that, especially when you consider like all these projects that are technically reboots of previous projects from the 90s and the Double O's and stuff like that. We don't need to waste time on origins anymore. We don't.
Yeah.
We
don't need Spider-Man. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Because you think of like the Amazing Spider-Man movie series, they wasted 3/4 of a movie on his origins. It's like, we already know this. We already know this from the Tobey Maguire movies. I know technically they're supposed to set them apart and stuff like that.
Right.
Which
but
is why
some things are always the same. Yeah.
Yeah, which is why it was so refreshing when like the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies came out, because it was like, oh, we did not waste any time on his origin. At this point, we're supposed to know. In there. And just same thing goes to Fantastic Four. We already know, because it's been two. Well, there was supposed to be a second movie series for that, but we know how that went. But yeah. I like it because, it just automatically establishes that, hey, these people were already here and established. We want to see what their lives are like before all this crazy stuff is happening. So I'm on board with it because I like seeing when there's fresh takes on long established projects. I love it.
Yeah, totally.
And also, I'm rooting for this Fantastic Four movie because honestly, Fantastic Four was the first comic outside of X-Men I ever read because of Operation Zero Tolerance back in the day with X-Men. Which, by the way, X-Men 97 knocked that Zero Tolerance thing out the box. They answered more questions. Yeah, they did. They answered more questions for Zero Tolerance in that cartoon than they ever did in the comics.
Absolutely, yeah.
I do want to think about it.
Yeah, I do want to add a note on this. So, basically, what you've been saying, LeRon and Charlie, James Gunn has already said we will not be having a Batman origin story in my DCU. So I'm like, thank God, good. James, you got it.
Yeah. There's nobody on it. Same thing with Superman, right? There's nobody on Earth from the time that they're born that doesn't know the origin stories of Batman, Superman, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
In these days, Captain America, because it's become so much more famous. But those are the top three that I think there's no one who's ever been within a 10-foot radius of a comic book that hasn't absorbed that information. So
absolutely.
All right, moving on. I have a fun story. I think it was really only in the last year that novelty popcorn buckets became a thing. We fell for it. The Dune 2 one was such a big deal, and the SNL spoof around that, I think, was epic. April and I picked up the Ecto 1, which was fun because it lit up and stuff. We never actually used it for popcorn. It was just a collectible. And then we got the cab from Deadpool. Those are both in my dining room, so they're, and then when it came to more and more, we just said, we got to stop. We can't do anymore. Well, now what I'm seeing is a cool blue helmet with a red visor for Captain America, A Brave New World going on Sam Wilson, because we know he goes supersonic in this movie. You've seen it in the trailers, that he becomes like a Cap, Falcon, Iron Man. And I'm just not going to be able to put, I think, here's what I'm going to say. I think this one will go right here. I have a helmet hole right here. I think it's going to go right here to my right. Because I move things down, I created an extra space for a helmet because I added all this other stuff behind me. So I have more space. So I think that's where this is going to go.
Charlie, so you had to fill your holes?
I'm not touching that with the 10-foot pole. But yeah, Todd, did you end up picking up something last year, didn't you?
No popcorn buckets for me. I get like the cup. If
You
it's
get
like
the
a
cup.
cup because I'm getting soda.
So you didn't get the Alien Romulus, like Alien cranium?
They had they had one for Gladiator that was the helmet that at my theater they had a little post note at the bottom, "Do not put on," because I'm sure people were
had
like
a Coliseum. Yeah, I think they had a Coliseum one too.
What about you, LeRon? Where do you land with collectible popcorn buckets?
They're intriguing, but not for me. Like I have enough going on just trying to collect Legos.
Right. It's what a tough row to hoe that is. Especially when we talked about this on Code. Sean brought it up that Lego might be turning out an Enterprise D from Star Trek before the end of the year.
Wrong Enterprise for me. It's the Enterprise E. It's the Enterprise E.
Oh, I think the D has more notoriety. I'm just glad it's not the original.
D has more notoriety for sure.
I'm very sick of looking at stuff from TOS because you guys like you and I grew up on TNG, right? We were that right age. So anyway, I will probably commit to buying this. Again, I'm super scared of this movie, just like I was scared of the Indiana Jones movie. And it turns out I was right to be scared because there's been a lot of like, oh, the test screening came back and people were blah, 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 blah. But I'm still excited for it because it's Captain America. So I'll get the bucket. You got me on that one. That's all I got to say about that. Todd, no more bucket thoughts for you? What would it take for Todd to buy a bucket? Like, what's the franchise that's got to drop for it to be, I can't resist?
Jeez. That's a hard one because there was a Deadpool Wolverine one.
Right.
That one was pretty cool, actually.
They have if that Masters of the Universe movie is coming out and they have a Skeletor head, I'll get a Skeletor.
Okay. Oh my! I'll do it. You know what? And I'll do it too. We'll get him. We'll be and we'll sit here this week with them, like that week with him, like on our shoulder. We'll have him in the frame so you can definitely see it. Sure. Good deal. What about you, LeRon? Anything
the only thing that's gonna make me like actually like consider getting it is like anything Star Trek related. And right now, like Star Trek is not happening in motion picture format. But anything Star Trek related, if it's something super cool, because like I always like the little small stuff like comm badges or like communication like that.
It's gonna be the shuttle. It's gonna be the shuttle.
Yeah. We'll get you know what it'll be? It'll be that iconic Spock helmet, which was a toy in the 70s. I'm sure you've seen it. Oh my God.
We give J.J. Abrams one more shot at it. It probably will be like one of those like the EVA helmets, because he always likes to do the extra vehicular stuff.
Space flight and lens flares. All right. Well, that's the end of the news. It's time to get down to the place where all of the fun stuff happens. That's down there at the Geek Easy, recently rehabilitated for 2025, so it's not the gnarly scug hole it used to be. And we even get to take an Uber X to get there. Pulls up, we're all hopping in the car. He's got Sirius XM on. See, we've upgraded because I listened to this advertisement.
Hey, Secret Friends Unite, let me tell you about Zencastr. We use them for our show, and now they're supporting us. Zencastr is now the all-in-one solution making podcasting easy. It's the ultimate web-based podcasting solution. Provides high-quality audio and video podcast production and hosting. With a full suite of professional tools, podcasters can seamlessly record, produce, and publish studio-quality content, all from one dashboard. Being a creator has never been easier. And we chose Zencastr because of the ease of use, high quality output, and it makes it super easy for our guests to come on. We had multiple solutions we tried before, and Zencastr has just been the best fit for us. Why Zencastr? It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencaster. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sounds and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencaster's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. Have you ever worried what you sound like? Zencaster's post-production process makes you sound buttery smooth. It automatically removes those ums and ahs in your recording. It removes those awkward pauses in conversation too. Set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with a click of a button. So if you're interested in making an easy, high-quality podcast just with the click of a browser button, go to Zencaster.com/pricing and use my code SFU1. You'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencaster paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Now back to the show.
Talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy to me.
We're sitting in the Geek Easy, cover bands playing, drinks are poured, and we are ready to get our nerd on. So,
sir.
LeRon, what have you been nerding out about?
Okay, so you guys gotta forgive me because I'm not checking anything out current, but I am playing catch up. And over the Christmas break, I caught up on two series one's a series and apparently one's just a season because apparently news broke that it's getting a second season. So the series was The Brother's Son from Netflix because I'm a big Michelle Yeoh fan. Like, I mean, like she can do no wrong, especially right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. 8 episodes, standard format. I enjoyed it. It definitely ends on like an ambiguous cliffhanger, but I feel like if anyone missed out on seeing The Brother's Son on Netflix, and I think it's still, I believe it's not in any threat of being removed from the servers right now. So yeah, like get a chance, go see it, stuff like that. You guys are going to love it. Like it's just one of those stories that it's not hokey in any way. It's funny, it's action packed, and there's a lot of good stuff going on. And yeah, Michelle Yeoh, never a dull performance from her.
Nice.
Is that like a crime drama? Like it's a family that are involved in crime?
It deals with the Chinese triads and the syndicates.
Okay, there you go, Mafia. Yeah,
Intrigue. I love it.
And it's called The Brother's Son because it's the brothers are taking over, are vying for leadership or something.
Okay, I can tell you guys this without giving any spoilers away. Their family name is Sun, S-U-N.
Okay, yep.
So and they're two brothers. They're both separated because of family circumstances. Like the brothers have not seen each other in over a decade and stuff like that. And something goes down that brings them back together, for this situation. And like I said, hilarity ensues, but it's a good show. It's really serious. It's got the comedic elements that keeps it lighthearted and paced.
Nice,
sweet.
Yeah. Then the other show that I was watching is a carryover that happened in June of 23. Hijack of Idris Elba. I actually watched that entire season, and at the time, I thought it was going to be a one-off until I looked it up and saw that apparently it's getting a second season order, and I was like, okay, how are they going to do this? But yeah, basically Idris Elba, he's playing a character, I forget the character's name, but he's basically catching a flight from one of the Middle Eastern countries heading back to the UK, and of course, the name of the show implies the plane gets hijacked.
What?
And,
never saw.
I thought it was just a greeting, like hijack.
Yeah. But here's the thing about it. Like, there are so many twists and turns and stuff going on. And there's one of those situations, I'm pretty sure, the average person has thought about, post 9/11, what would we do if we're on a plane that's getting hijacked? What would we as passengers do and stuff like that? There's a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of stuff that keeps everything going fresh. This was a 9-episode series, and what I thought was really great that kept me in the audience on my toes is that the hijackers did not give their demands until episode 7. 6 or 7, I want to say somewhere around there. So that right there, because I feel like sometimes they give the demands away too early in the series that people lose interest in watching the show. But yeah, that was good. Yeah, I would definitely recommend, especially like given that there's season 2 coming. Definitely check it out before season 2 drops and stuff like that. Both of those I can honestly recommend. Like I wish Brother Soon would get a second season. Of course, Netflix canceled that before like the numbers really came in and stuff like that. But you know what? They probably canceled because they know Michelle Yeoh is too damn busy.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
They were lucky to get in that Section 31 movie. They didn't think it was going to happen because
I know. It was supposed to be a series. Like, I mean, y'all dragged your feet on that one. Y'all let her get too big. And the sad part is she's been in movies since like for 40 years now. Like, damn.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And she was also in Wicked 2, which obviously that money's not getting any leaner, and she will be also in the second part. So
yeah.
Fantastic, man. Well, talking about a series that I have been wanting to finalize and finish, and that is The Penguin. Finally watched it.
Keep it light, because I gotta watch it. Watch it.
Same.
It's so amazing. It's basically Sopranos. In Gotham, the characters are amazing. Christina Milioti, I think Milioti.
No, you got it,
Milioti. She's amazing. She is a standout character. There's another character in it that is also, it's basically, I don't want to give it away too much, but basically it's a character that's very close to the Penguin, is amazing as well. And I will say the last episode is the only real tie-in to remind you, oh yeah, this is said in the Batman universe,
right?
And that's what makes it good.
No bits to it, exactly. So exactly. It's the Sopranos without a handsome lead like James Gandolfini. I know.
Yeah, there's nobody. Well, Christina Milioti is very attractive, but it's got the guy who plays Shades. Remember him?
Yeah,
he's from Luke Cage. I mean, he's in it, and he's always up to no good. So he's in this as well.
I love that dude. Yeah. He was in Carry On. I told you that movie that just got its own pitch meeting, like he shared with us.
It's such a good series, and I don't know when we're getting another series. And we just found out about the Batman sequel is not coming out until 2026 now. So it's like, need something to bridge that gap. But yeah, I could not recommend The Penguin enough. And once again, it's one of those HBO shows, which I love, where they give you behind the scenes, kind of more background of the characters and their motivations. I wish more shows did that, because I think it's amazing. I love it. There's things you might have missed that they talk about. So I think that's one of the things that HBO Max does great. And then my last thing, I actually do a little show and tell.
Oh, here we go. Wait, I got to get ready for mine, because one of mine's show and tell too.
So this puppy was delayed because of a printing error, apparently.
And you haven't even opened it?
That's how thick it is. No, I haven't opened it yet. I'm gonna do that when I'm ready for it. But this is the DC versus Marvel Amalgam Age Omnibus. So for not everybody who doesn't know this, but basically after there was a camaraderie with DC and Marvel at a certain time in the 90s where they
short-lived when they were both
all
going
of
bankrupt.
These series. Yeah. They did a bunch of series. They did All Access. They did Marvel versus DC, and then they also did a cool thing called the Amalgam universe, which is basically everything got mashed up between DC and Marvel. So you got all these amazing characters and mashup versions, and some were good, some were bad. Nothing about it, but I mean, it was amazing. I mean, characters like Speed Demon, which was Ghost Rider plus Flash, Dr. Doomsday, obviously, the Four-Armed Thing, which is weird, Beastling. So it was, and they had made titles, and they were just only one issue. So those have been out completely, just like all these other books. Yeah,
and Super Captain, and like Spider Boy. Spider Boy was one of them. I had that.
Or it was Dark
Claw. Yeah.
A lot of great characters. So these have been out of print, hard to get. They are never probably going to come back and print again unless they're in some type of thing. These have been out of print for like 30 years. So I had to pick it up. It's not cheap. I think it's like
$1.25, isn't it?
Something like that. But yeah, because these are limited edition, they're not going to reprint them. Yeah. If you have missed out, I would recommend getting them ASAP. I think this is actually sold out now on Amazon. So you'll have to find it elsewhere. And it's probably scalped to be sold later. So there's also the other one, which is out, which I believe Sean Nias got. I don't know, Charlie, if you did or not, which is just the DC Marvel crossovers.
I had both of them pre-ordered and then I nixed it because, I was trying to watch my nickels during the last year. But naturally, these are not available digitally. I'm sure there's no hope.
Well, if you know a guy.
Yeah, if you know a guy, I'll get you to sit and photocopy them for me. Well, I have a similar story that I'll get to after I talk about this Hulu movie that we watched. It's so weird when this adult content stuff, you can watch it on Hulu or Disney Plus because they've globbed together. But
adult content sounds a little different than
it sounds a little iffy.
Adult
but
entertainment.
I didn't say entertainment. I said yes, adult situations. But yeah, April and I play. We play, streamer roulette. Usually, a lot of weeknights we don't have a show to watch. So we're like, all right, what are we picking tonight? We picked Hulu and just skimming through, and found this movie that came out direct to streaming last summer called Mother's Instinct. Kind of an interesting concept, and you find out closer to the end why they made it more of a period piece. But it's about 1962 in an undisclosed location in the United States of America. You've got two couples living side by side that each have a son who is about the same age, we'll say 10, and it's you can tell it's the 60s because people are working their asses off smoking cigarettes. Like when they're dancing, the couples are dancing. Swear to God, you could have seen two cigarettes. And everybody's drinking and this and that. But the mothers are played by Jessica Chastain, and I'm going to draw a blank. Anne Hathaway. And Jessica Anne Hathaway's husband is played by Josh Charles. And then the other husband is a guy I didn't know who he was. And there's a tragedy that befalls Anne Hathaway's family. Won't get into it, but it's pivotal to the plot. And these two ladies are super duper close, but the tragedy starts to break them apart to the point that Jessica Chastain is becoming very suspicious of Anne Hathaway's behavior. And with good reason. And you feel like this movie is going along a predictable clip. You feel like it's going to end in a way like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, let's say, though it's not quite that. But the reason that I'm even talking about this at all is that it had a completely unpredictable ending.
In a good way?
No, not at all. It was not good in the slightest. But it was.
I like it. So it goes all apeshit.
Todd, I would say watch it. I would say watch it because
I'll watch the ending.
Yeah. You're right. Watch the last.
That would make more sense probably if I just watch it out of context.
Watch the last 25 minutes. You're going to be just fine. No, I do like it when a story subverts the expectations because you expect something to be going along and good is going to triumph over evil. I'm not going to tell you what happened, but what I just said, that's not what happens.
Do we find out that Anne Hathaway is actually a 85-year-old midget? Or little person.
How
did
you know?
One movie with that? What was her name? What was that movie?
Oh, it was. Oh God, I know the movie. I can't think of it.
The little
orphan, the
little girl, the orphan, the little girl who was actually a 45-year-old woman.
She was like the Estonian in The Simpsons. Please check my medic alert bracelet. He was the Hamburglar or the Krusty Burglar. Right. So yeah, I would say go check that out. That one's a lot of fun. And then just like Todd, I got an absurd book, which I was showing off on our Discord yesterday. That's
one volume.
This is the 4-volume G.I. Joe Compendium. This reprints, and it's beautiful. I mean, look at the spine.
That's 1 out of 4, though, right?
1 out of 4, and I have the whole box behind me here, and I can't really show it off, but it's so heavy that I couldn't put it on these wire shelves I had because it would destroy them. So it's sitting on top of my foot locker. But this set, which was a Kickstarter that was done by Image Comics, Skybound, which currently holds the G.I. Joe license, reprints in their entirety the Marvel Comics run between 1982 and about 1990. They have one that pops over 1985, but the series ended in 1994. All 155 issues of the regular series, 30-something issues of G.I. Joe Special Missions, the G.I. Joe Transformers Limited series, and the G.I. Joe Order of Battle, which was basically who's who in G.I. Joe. It came with all these crazy unlocks. I got pins, I got trading cards, I got card art, fold out art. There was more art in the books when you opened it up, a little poster fell out. Stickers. I mean, it was It was $300. Not gonna lie to you. I hate to throw around dollar amounts because it's not my scene. There were two different editions of it. There was a GI Joe and a Cobra, 300 each. I obviously did not get both because I've done the GI Joe toy Kickstarters, which I have on the other side of my camera here, of which I can't do anymore because I am now really out of space. This was worth every penny. This is absolutely gorgeous. And I got all the PDFs so I can read it I have to find a good PDF reader, but I can just read the PDFs off my Google Drive if that's really, if I'm on the go. But I'm a hardcore G.I. Joe guy. You can see it all over here, especially this vintage poster behind me. This was a dream come true. I would love it if I could just read it through Comixology, but we don't always get everything that we want. But this delivered. I absolutely loved it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Todd, you still with us? Because you froze.
I am.
Okay, good. That's all that matters.
We're having issues. I'll say.
We won't make it too much more complicated. But anyway, that's it for the Geek Easy. Todd, I have my phone out. Hopefully it doesn't catch the bug that your computer has, because I opened up my Air Quantus app. It's time to get down to Land Down Under. Hologram Tina and the mutants are waiting for us to talk about 2025. Let's do it.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome!
Thank you, Tina. The mutants have been gathered for a topic or game to be entertained. And this week, we are talking about our 2025 preview in geek media. We're going to start with TV. So we'll take you through the things that you need to watch in the world of TV. We're primarily going to hit on premieres, but if there's something like, a show was returning, we'll hit on that as well. So I'll take us through these. I'll stop when I think something seems interesting, unless you remember something that is also interesting and I don't hit on it. I will say in January,
all the way ahead to June.
January. The only one that seems interesting is it's going to be funny. We get Watson, which is a show on CBS, which is essentially by the people from Elementary, but this is going to be Morris Chestnut playing Dr. Watson, who basically investigates medical mysteries. So,
right.
but Sherlock Holmes did die and was killed by Moriarty. So there you go. I'm excited about this. I like a good procedural. After the Matlock show that came out, I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Yeah. Don't forget, it wasn't the only thing in January. We also do have, we talked about last week, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man on the 29th. So very much looking forward to that. As
I assume that'll be maybe 2 episodes that drop the first week and then weekly after that.
Yeah, they often do that. It doesn't say that per se. So
okay. Let's see what else we've got going through this. We've got. Keep going. We're into February. Nothing much in February. But we do get to March 4th. We get Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus.
Hold on. Time out. On February 23rd, which is my birthday, I love this. They have a show called The Grosse Pointe Garden Society with Melissa Fumero from Brooklyn 99. What's significant is that it's my birthday, and Grosse Pointe is where I was born. That's my hometown. That's all I have to say about that. Murder, mischief, and scandal.
This may not be Michigan, Charlie. Might be another Grosse Pointe.
Oh, Grosse Pointe, Minnesota, huh? I see what you're doing. Trying to take our Grand Rapids. It's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right.
So then we have Daredevil Born Again, like I said, March 4th. This is tenuously connected to the Daredevil series on Netflix.
Right.
Obviously, there's some tweaks. This is years later, I believe, and we know there's going to be a unique villain in this, and we will have some other returning characters as part of this. So very excited about the show. It'll be interesting what Disney Plus does with the series after the creative team behind Daredevil on Netflix is not involved. So curious to see where that goes.
Get him out of there. All right. What else?
Let's see. Let's see. This is interesting. In March 26th, we get Side Quest. So this is actually a spin-off of Mythic Quest, a show I really love a lot on Apple TV Plus. It's about video games, but it's really just a workplace comedy. It's really well done. Rob McElhenney is amazing in it. Love that show.
Well, I was going to say, what was that DC workplace comedy? Hopefully this doesn't suffer that kind of fate. What was that called? Where they were like the
Powerless
damage control kind of deal. Hopefully it doesn't.
It was called Powerless. Yeah, it was a good show. I like that show, but didn't do very well. Yeah.
Very true.
Then we have Seth Rogen's going to be a TV series on Apple TV Plus where he plays a newly appointed head of a fictitious Hollywood film studio. This is actually going to include a lot of like named people playing themselves, kind of like in a elevated kind of comedic documentary. But yeah, I think this one looks really good. I saw a trailer for it. So Apple TV, once again, bringing some new shows.
They're trying to rook us, trying to get me to say a lot of this is Apple TV Plus stuff.
It is, but we'll go on to see what's like. June 24th, moving there, Ironheart. We get Riri Williams wrapped up in a mysterious, charming ne'er-do-well Peter Parker Robbins, who is also the Hood. So if you know that character in Marvel Comics, basically he's a villain who has a powerful mystical cloak. So it's interesting they're teaming those two up.
Right. Yeah, that's a weird fit. The next couple that they have listed here is Eyes of Wakanda, which is on August 6th. Animated, which is, and it sounds like it's to be more of an animated anthology, I think I've heard it described.
Probably like Star Wars Visions, maybe?
Yeah, kind of going through and doing some different stuff. And then Marvel Zombies, which is the first spin-off from What If, per se. Well, not the very first, but the first series, because they spun off like Captain Carter appeared in the Doctor Strange film. But I don't know. How are you going to make Marvel Zombies interesting over a whole series? I guess I'm kind of dubious about that because it seems like they did pretty good with it in What If. I mean, I don't know. LeRon, are you you're a big fan of that kind of the What If series? I loved it. I mean, because I loved the comic as a kid.
Okay, so I'm not completely caught up. Like I haven't even started season 3 yet, but I like What If because like I used to read What If back in the day and stuff like that, and I've always liked like the alternative narrative of like what could have happened in like some of the major events of like the Marvel universe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My thing is, so like they're making a whole series on Marvel Zombies. Like how do we? Well, I guess it's the wrong possibility because there was a whole like comic series of Marvel Zombies. I guess it's the wrong possibility, but I also feel like. Well, I know this, like Marvel's trying to do something with their animation arm, stuff like that. So I guess Marvel Zombies is like, combined with Eyes of Wakanda and stuff like that. Like it's their way of trying to get more people interested and involved in it to see if they can do more projects. So there's that, but I don't know. Like I will watch some of it, but I'm just intrigued just to see how they pull it off more or less than like I'm just there for the long run.
True.
Some shows, I was going to say some shows that do not have release dates, but are very interesting to me. Alien Earth. This is, Noah Hawley is behind this. It's basically a prequel set roughly 70 years in the future, 30 years before the Alien movie. And aliens actually come to Earth. This is going to be very, very cool.
So they're throwing their own continuity just out the window because every time they bump into aliens, it's like, what are these things? I don't understand. But the company wants them. You know what I mean? So it's like,
the company always knows. Like
the company, the company is known since
Wayland Yutani always gets their stuff.
I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping what Alien Earth does is like it blows the lid off of Wayland Yutani because I feel like ultimately like Wayland Yutani is the actual bad guy in the entire.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can't say the alien is the bad guy because it's like
the xenomorphs want to be left the hell alone.
Well, right. All they know how to do is kill, but if you just leave them, they'll be fine. It's like it's a wild animal. So don't poke the bear. You know.
Okay, let's see next. We've got
I've got one because we're currently watching Dexter.
No, Charlie, I know you're going to say.
No, Dexter Original Sin. So there's another Dexter series. I'm not going to say I'm excited about this one because they just throw out what happened in the series that preceded it. So I know we'll watch it, but I'm more interested in the one that's on right now. That's what I'll say.
I feel like they're starting to whip that horse to death.
Yeah, they've turned the horse into glue. It's a little rough.
Well, Showtime needs something, right, to keep Showtime alive on its own. Yeah,
right. Not as Paramount Plus eats it. Yeah.
So we've got It, Welcome to Derry, coming to HBO. This is what we talked about, Charlie. This is basically happening in an older throwback time about a character. It's going to focus on a character that they reference in, I believe, It.
The second one, yeah. Probably.
Yeah, so that could be very cool. That's undated. And then A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. This is a Game of Thrones series. It's a prequel. Centers on Duncan Egg, set in an age when the Targaryen line still holds the Iron Throne. Let's see. Other than that, Charlie, you're getting an Outlander prequel called Blood of My Blood.
How can they do a prequel to a show that's set in the 1700s?
Oh, it's about Jamie and Claire's parents. I don't know who those people are.
I mean, Jamie and Claire are the main characters, but Jamie and Claire's parents were 200 years apart in time on different continents.
They're going to find out that they're actually related because they went back in time, and then they had them. So then
Outlander is incest.
It's
Outlander incest will be the third series.
Exactly.
I will wrap this up in December. We're getting Wonder Man, who is another. It's one of my favorite characters, being played by Yaha Abdul Mateen II. I have kind of mixed feelings about this because what I'm seeing on screen doesn't look anything like the character. I'm not talking about the race, but I'm talking about the way the character is being portrayed. Obviously, they're trying to transform it for the MCU era, but it kind of bums me out because Wonder Man was a huge Avengers character from the beginning, and he was a rival to Tony Stark. He was kind of like Justin Hammer, Sam Rockwell.
Yeah,
that's the kind of character that Simon Williams was. The actor part of him came to fruition in the late 70s, early 80s. So I don't know. I'm excited.
Well, he's going to be an actor, and we got like 15 seconds of something. So Charlie, I don't think you can take that's where he's going to land. You haven't even seen him in a costume yet.
I mean, you're right. You're absolutely okay. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm going to reserve judgment.
I'm gonna say this because I'm definitely excited for Wonder Man. Yeah, I'm Team Abdul Mateen. I've loved practically every project he's been in and stuff like that. So I'm here for it and stuff like that. The one thing I will say is like I appreciate what the MCU has did for like all these traditional Marvel characters and stuff like that, because like if we go back to like their actual origins and stuff like that, it's a little hokey in this day and age. So like a modernized telling of it, like I knew we were in for a treat because I was when I was at a special event, like a special viewing for Iron Man, and we didn't even know it was Iron Man, first of all, but we walked in and we saw it, and I was like, this is Iron Man. I was like, okay, what are they going to do with this? And then when I saw like his origin and all that stuff, I was like, oh man, like they're actually making this work in a day and age that we can understand and feel this and stuff like that. So of almost all the projects, especially after seeing what happened with Agatha all along, I trust Wonder Man. I trust it.
Okay. All right. I will hold you to that.
Okay. Well, we're probably gonna fight about it in 2026.
Well, how about this? When that show comes back, LeRon will come back and bless us again to talk about it.
Yes, deal.
I'm here for it. I'm here for
Perfect.
We'll have a Wonder Man breakdown.
We'll see you in a year, LeRon.
Uh-oh. Yeah. I love it. Well, the end of this year. All right, let's talk about some movies, Todd. Let's talk about some movies.
Let's talk about movies. So,
yes, please.
I think the number one movie for all people this year is Paddington in Peru, January 17th.
Excellent. It comes out first thing. Well, if I might, we're going to see. I just booked tickets because we got to go see something stupid. So we're seeing the Den of Thieves 2 this week. Well, but yes, Paddington in Peru follows that. But the first genre-ish kind of thing is Wolfman. This is Lee Winnell with Julia. Is Julia Garner the person who? Yeah, it is. It's Ruth from Ozark, the new Silver Surfer, who I was just talking about. I like Wolfman stuff. I'm a fan, so I mean, I'm on board with this.
I commend Universal for trying to stick with this with their I forget what it's called.
Dark Universe.
Dark Universe. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I commend them because I thought, well, I guess the Invisible Man did a lot compared to what the Mummy did,
the Mummy was out.
Well, we're gonna get a new Mummy that's basically with this crew. So I think they're just gonna rehaul the whole thing and forget the Mummy ever happened.
These public domain things, they can just keep reinvent. It's like Batman movies, which is not public domain, but it's a fictional character. You can just keep running it through, and it can be 50 different people. So it's all right. All right, Todd, what else we got? In first quarter.
Love Hurts. This should be fun. Love Hurts. That's that Lee Kwan or Ki Hu Kwan movie where basically he plays a retail estate agent. You find out that basically he's a badass who his brother is a bad dude and he's got to take him down with Ariana DeBose. I think this looks great to see him kind of do that kind of romantic comedy.
Yeah, I'll be in the seat for this one.
Yeah,
In February.
yeah, definitely. Well, I already talked about Captain America, Brave New World, and my reservations, but I'm also super fired up. I mean, this
I
is
am too.
giving us Harrison Ford, and it's giving us the Red Hulk.
We're back to spy vibes too,
Yeah,
kind of like
exactly.
yeah.
That trailer definitely makes you feel like it's a Cap and the Winter Soldier, which was the pinnacle of Marvel. Giancarlo Esposito and the Serpent Society, which was very big to Cap titles in the 1980s during the Mark Gruenwald era.
I hope he's got snake hands.
Oh, he didn't look very snaky. He just looked like a dude. So yeah, you're right. Maybe that'll change. Todd, we've got on Apple TV Plus The Gorge, which we on the 14th.
Oh, that looks great. I am so excited about it. Anya Taylor-Joy does no wrong.
Most definitely. I'm going to skip over something called The Monkey because that trailer's
The Monkey. That's a Stephen King adaptation. I'm very excited for that too.
Yeah.
Which means we'll be seeing it. So something new. Looney Tunes coming out. What is The Legend of Ochi? Haven't heard of that one.
I don't know. They made it sound like it's a lot like an E.T., but it's from A24.
Okay.
So considering they always do dark stuff.
Horror. It'll be horror, yeah. Speaking of horror, we talked about Sinners last week. March 7th. It's a Ryan Coogler film with Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld. Very exciting stuff. I'm skimming Disney Snow White on the 21st of March.
Those great little CGI dwarves.
We could skim past that one.
I was going to say, and you'll hear this on Code 47, but I saw a meme this week. LeRon, you'll appreciate this. In one of the episodes, we talked about all the Ferengi standing over the dead Vorta, and they say the live action Snow White looks weird.
Yes, it does.
We have the Minecraft movie on April the 4th. That's my wife's birthday.
That's either going to do horrible or fantastic. Could be an ugly Sonic or a Mario. I don't know.
Absolutely no prediction of how this is going to do. Mickey 17 is a movie we've been talking about for a while.
This looks so
Bong
fun.
Joon-ho is the director, and that's Robert Pattinson, and about a guy who keeps dying and getting cloned.
And Mickey 17.
It looks like it's a satirical take. There's a video game movie. We'll skip that.
Oh no! Until Dawn, Charlie. I think you'll like this one.
Okay,
it's a horror film. Rami Malek and I'm trying to remember the other. Hayden Panettiere were in the original video game. It was all about basically to keep your crew alive. It happens at like a scary mountain cabin, of course. So it goes in the mountain cabin or resort. Yeah. Nothing good. This should be a lot of fun. David Sandberg is a really good director, so I think this could be a very fun
is it actually going to be? Is it going to be the adaptation of the original game, or are they going to do something? Are they going to take license and use the name, but not be nothing like it?
No, it's supposed to be a direct adaptation.
Actually, you know what? I think about Sony does not play around with stuff like that. Like it's probably an adaptation. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Naturally, the Thunderbolts asterisk comes out May 2. That kicks off the summer movie season. And again, this is a movie like we've been back for reshoot, so it scares the shit out of me. So I don't know, but I'm excited about the trailer. We've got a great group of characters. The focus of it is going to be Florence Pugh's Yelena, which is a great character. And then, of course, David Harbour as Red Guardian being your comic relief. I'm very excited. I just hope it's not terrible. It won't be terrible to me because, I get on board with most Marvel stuff, but still. Doesn't mean it's going to do great.
I will tell you, LeRon, I just watched it, and Charlie, you've probably already seen it, the What If episode with Red Guardian and Winter Soldier. That is a fantastic episode.
That's very fun.
It was amazing. So to see these two once again together, I love David Harbour, and him playing that character is so much fun. I hope it's good.
You bet. This was the final film of Tony Todd, his Final Destination, Bloodlines. We, April and I bought a 5-pack of the Final Destination movies. We watch it every October. They're so stupid and absolutely moronic. But this one's special because Tony Todd was a guest at a Comic-Con that April and I worked a couple of years ago. I had run off to have a whiz or something. He stopped by a booth. We ran a Star Trek booth and we had a captain's chair. He stopped by, sat in the captain's chair, took a picture, kissed my wife on the hand, flirted with her a little bit. He smelled like weed, and then he walked away. That was the story.
Good job, Tony.
I know. So he will always be very special to this family. Lilo and Stitch is back. Is this live action? Sort of.
It's live action CGI.
Oh, dude, I just.
I understand why Disney does it. It's supposed to print money, but does it really print money? Because I
I
don't.
mean,
We'll see. Mufasa's not doing too hot.
They
Yeah.
struggled. The Mufasa was kind of highs and lows. I mean, it started out slow, got high, and it's back down again, isn't it? I mean, it just went. Yeah, it's not exactly
Yeah.
nailing it.
Well, the last Lilo and Stitch was 2002. So essentially, this is 23 years. So you know what? I'm guessing a whole lot of generation of kids maybe have never watched this. So maybe
Right.
it's okay.
Well, and you might have parents taking kids who are like, you'll really love this. It could be.
I loved it when I was a kid. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
As an adult who doesn't have children, I'm trying to. I wonder, is it because like the magic of the animated shows don't really, the animated movies aren't really doing it for kids in this day and age? Which is why
They're trying to pitch it to the millennials. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. with a
Yeah,
lot of this stuff.
because like I know this. Like I have an adult friend who has kids, and like and he tried to introduce his 6-year-old to, I can't remember which Disney movie it was, which Disney animated movie it was. Kid absolutely hated it. It was Jungle Book. Kid absolutely hated
really?
it.
Yeah, because the 60-year-old movie. Oh my god.
Yeah, but when when he showed him the remake, the CG remake, the kid loved it, and I was like, maybe it's just I don't know, like
It's
because
the animation style. Yeah. Maybe.
yeah, because Jungle Book for me, the animated one is the best.
Great music, so much fun. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but we're old as hell, and it looks normal to us. Speaking of old and hell and looks normal to us, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning on May 23rd. The last movie in this series did pretty bad. So that and again, this is right in the middle of the summer movie wager that Todd and I and our third college roommate John have done for the last 9 years. I don't really know where this one's going to land. I'm feeling. I mean, it's got Haley Atwell in it, my girl, but I don't think that's going to sell the movie all the way. Yeah.
Well, it's not coming out, but it's not coming out around Barbie, so that'll help it. This one,
Right.
Last one, Barbie
you're
killed
absolutely
it.
right. Well, Todd, this next one's you. It's your girl, and it's your beloved John Wick.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited that our friend Jonathan Sear finally discovered John Wick. He really likes the series, so very good. And we are getting this spin-off called Ballerina, which essentially is it's a midquill because it will feature John Wick. And basically, it's got Ana de Armas, who I absolutely love to pieces. She is going to be in this film, as well as Angelica Houston and Gabriel Byrne. So I'm all in on Ana de Armas being badass.
I bet we'll go have a look. Now, I'm wondering how this is going to do this summer. How to Train Your Dragon live action. How to Train Your Dragon was very big in the aughts and like the early 2010s. So you now have a group of adults who are probably more interested. But Jerry Butler's in this one, Nico Parker. I'm curious how that's going to roll out. But I'm also curious about this next one because Pixar had the film of the summer. They had Inside Out 2 last year, which was a great sequel. Now we have an kind of an IP. I think it's an IP called Elio, which is coming out on June 13. Looks like it's got some. Directed by Dami Shi, who directed Turning Red. That was the direct
Three
to
directors.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
That's weird.
Yeah, do you think it's going to be like a solo style mess? No narrative, or won't it matter because it's for kids? They'll just be like, that's okay. I'm here
Pixar's
anyway.
last original film was Elementals, which did okay. I watched it. I like the movie a lot. But something that animated films for kids that don't do well are typically sci-fi. Sci-fi animated films don't do well with kids. This one's basically about a kid who gets beamed up to an interplanetary organization where he's mistaken as identified as Earth's leader. So it could be very cute. And I know as a kid, I loved all like the movies like Explorers and all those goofy,
the Flight
movies
of the Navigator
like that.
kind of deal. Yeah. But what you're saying is this could be your next Mars Needs Moms kind of deal.
It could be where it just doesn't resonate. But I hope it does.
Me too, especially if I'm going to put it on my bracket. 28 Years Later is the third film in the 28 blank later saga. Now this is so it's 28 years after the original film. The original film, you can't find it on streaming, and I think it's out of print, which I assume will be rectified if they're hoping that this is going to be a success. The second film is available, but we got Jodie Comer, who's a bigger name, and of course Aaron Taylor Johnson, the new guy who is in everything, and Ralph Fiennes. So this is obviously 28 years down the road, and it's just kind of Walking Dead-ish kind of stuff. Like if you watch the later seasons of The Walking Walking Dead, everything's very, grotty and disgusting. And they're like, we still have this, they're wearing gross clothes or whatever they could find. So this kind of has that vibe. I am curious what the overall kind of narrative is, though, because the trailers didn't really fill you in like, we got to do this mission, because you just see a bunch of guys.
It is 28 years later, so I guess that'll be kind of the focus to say, what is the world like?
And the director is Alex Garland, who gave us the exceptional Civil War last year, which I absolutely loved. Yep. Not the Marvel one. What else we got here, Todd?
Megan gets her sequel, Megan 2.0. I still have to see Megan 1.0.
You're going to be pleasantly entertained.
It's and the unrated version is a lot more gruesome.
Yes.
Perfect. But no, this one's just like, I don't know about this. I mean, I like the cast, but Jurassic World Rebirth, this is like our third iteration of the Jurassic Park movies. I don't know. I've grown tired of the whole concept, so I don't know what they're going to really do. I mean,
I'm kind of with you there. It's like, what else can they do? Gareth Edwards, did he direct one of the Star Wars movies? Or am I thinking of the wrong Gareth? Did he do Rogue One? Isn't that him? I mean, maybe that'll help. Maybe it won't.
I think you're right.
You're right. I think it's kind of worn out. But anyway, what's not worn out, never will be for me, is Superman, which we're getting on July 11th. I went on record after seeing the trailer. This is going to be the movie of the summer, maybe the movie of the year. And that's me, pitting it quite against Fantastic Four, which comes out just a couple of weeks later. I'm kind of shaking in my boots over that one. Like, if Superman is an enormous hit, is it going to knock Fantastic Four down, way down? I don't know. But I'm fired up. I'm fired up for those two movies. Those are the two things I'm probably the most excited about for this year. All right, what else we got?
Animated film, Bad Guys 2 looks really cute. We get a sequel to Nobody, that Bob Odenkirk film I actually really liked a lot. I don't know if you ever saw it, Charlie, but it was very fun. So we're getting a sequel to that. And then we are getting The Conjuring Last Rites. The Conjuring movies continue. This is about the Warrens.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I enjoy those films, and and plus we're getting into spooky season at this point. We're also getting another. How could we be getting another Saw movie? This is it's like a soap opera, and they're bringing back Tobin Bell again. Didn't he die like in the third one, and this is the 9th one? It's incredible. Oh no, this is the 11th one. My God.
11, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
After the horrible Chris Rock Spiral film?
Yeah.
Oh my
that's
God,
right.
that movie was horrid.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
Tron Ares on October 10. And again, I was not super high on the Tron movie that came out in the early Tron Legacy. Didn't really blow me away, but the original Tron was fantastic. So maybe they're like, odd even, kind of like some people describe the Star Trek movies, so I don't tend to agree with that. Maybe this one is going to be dynamite.
You know what's funny? Like I wouldn't have even thought about Tron Ares, but I just recently watched the entire Tron series that was on Disney XD.
Oh yeah,
I watched it, and it actually reignited my love and interest for the actual Tron series. After I watched that, I went back and watched the original Tron movie, and I was like, okay, I'm all on board now.
I've heard good things about the series. I think it's on Disney Plus. So, Jeff Bridges is back, and then instead of Daft Punk, we're getting 9 Inch Nails doing the soundtrack, which they do a lot of soundtracks now. So that could be pretty cool.
Hopefully that's a good thing. We have a sequel to what was a great success, summer horror movie success a couple of years ago, The Black Phone. Scott Derrickson directing. Ethan Hawke returns. He is the villain. Sorry about the spoiler, but it's been a couple of years. Is this kid gonna get?
Nobody knows.
Is he gonna get locked in a different basement? That's what that movie was about. It says
he has a cordless phone.
Yeah,
that doesn't
right.
charge.
They jump it forward, and it's the black cell phone. So it's the it'll be set in the year 2000. It's a StarTAC. That'll be remember that great technology. But anyway, I'd be excited to see that. So, guys, Mortal Kombat 2. I could barely make it through the first one.
Are you guys excited? Was a mixed bag.
Same.
Yeah, I had some cool ideas, but then basically said, "Oh, we're not going to actually use any of the main characters. We're just going to bring this unknown dude in as the main character." But I thought some of the fight scenes were pretty cool.
Yeah, gotcha. We have a Predator movie, Badlands. Is this to video again, or is this in the theater?
No, this is going to be to theater. Wow. Dan Trachtenberg is back, and this one's going to happen in the Old West. 1719.
Yeah, so Yeah, it's a different take.
possibly-
It says a different take of the one from 1719, so it
Oh, okay.
doesn't say the
No.
time period. But Ellie Fanning will be the star, and I'm a fan. Now You See Me 3, is that from the heist movies from the 2016s? I don't know. I remember.
Yeah,
this.
I think this is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm no fan of Jesse Eisenberg. I like Isla Fisher. I know she almost died making that movie. That's the thing that I remember about it the most. Like, she was in the water tank stunt and they couldn't get her out. She almost died. Dave Franco, Woody Harrelson, Ariana Greenblatt, who was also in everything, Mark Ruffalo. I mean, Justice Smith, huge cast. But again, we're pushing the line of like a legacy sequel now. For
This may be, I don't know if they're all going to be involved in this because it says right now the cast is Dan Radcliffe, Rosamund Pike, and Morgan Freeman.
Oh, okay, guys. So
they might have pared it down rather than have 85,000 people like the Ocean's films or Fast and Furious.
Exactly. In theaters, November 21, The Running Man with Glenn Powell, big hit. He is, and it's Edgar Wright. He's Lee Pace and Josh Brolin. So that's three. That's Glenn Powell plus 2 Marvel villains.
This should be fantastic.
That's
this is
star power.
Film.
That is star power right there.
It's big time.
Oh, I love it.
And then to absolutely decimate the box office at the end of the year, Wicked for Good, the sequel to Wicked.
That's a horrible name. For Good?
Wicked for Good, yeah.
That sounds very propaganda-y. But anyway, we loved Wicked. The world loved Wicked. Yeah. Wicked is big. The sing-along version is still in theaters. This will be an enormous success no matter what. Oh man, we've got 2 sequels that kind of dubious about. Zootopia 2. Zootopia was a favorite of my kids, and Five Nights at Freddy, which was a favorite of my youngest son, which I thought was good, but I thought it was wasn't it a direct to video, or it was a day and date?
It was day and it went to the theaters, plus it was on Paramount Plus or Peacock, one of the two.
Oh my gosh.
Peacock.
Yeah, there you go. Avatar ends the year. You know how I feel about Avatar. I'm not going to say anything more. And then we have a Frankenstein movie. Also, this is a Netflix film. So are we getting into? Oh, that was the last one.
No, this is Guillermo del Toro.
Theaters and streaming with no release date. So that's the floating one.
Guillermo del Toro. When he makes a movie, it's a big deal.
It's got Mia Goth, Maxine. I loved those movies, and Oscar Isaac.
Mia Goth is the fakest name in the world. I don't believe it's true.
Well, it's a good thing those movies were about pornography because it really fits the bill. All right, Todd.
It's a stage name. All right. Well, I'll hit these. These are kind of interesting. So for comic books, we really get a good view for the whole year. But we've got one series coming out from Marvel called One World Under Doom. So essentially, it's all about what if Dr. Doom took over the world and he basically rules. We've had similar issues before with Emperor Doom, but this looks like this should be a cool book. And Charlie, don't worry. I'll have other spin-offs and things, but just keep to the main title and you'll be okay.
Yay. Yeah. Well, I might. I did read about this because I still read previews and solicits and stuff. So
wow. Then we're getting one I wouldn't have expected. Batman Hush 2. Hush was such a big deal with DC. Jim Lee drawing that book. I believe Scott Snyder wrote that, and now it's coming back. So this will be interesting to see what it does with Tommy Elliott, because he hasn't really been involved in kind of the antics for a while. So, but it's going to happen within Batman and run for 6 issues. So it's not going to be a series. It's just going to happen within the Batman book. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah. Ultimate Universe expands. So this is actually, people have really been enjoying the Ultimate Universe now, and we're getting a Wolverine book, and we're getting Ultimate title as well. So that should be interesting to see what happens there. Vertigo's returning. Very cool. I always thought Vertigo was an amazing comic imprint within DC, so that's great. Mm-hmm. Deadpool Wolverine is getting its own title.
Nice. Ongoing. Yeah, because the big success, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yep. And then the Absolute Universe. So, LeRon, I'm not sure if you're up to speed, but DC has introduced this new Absolute Universe, which is basically almost like Marvel's Ultimate Universe, where basically they're giving them all kind of a new type of. It's not taking away anything that's ongoing, but this is kind of a new start. And Charlie and I are actually going to be reading these. For our next spinner rack, but they are already going to introduce. They have Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, and now they're going to introduce Martian Manhunter, and then we're also going to get a Green Lantern and Flash, which is pretty cool.
Nice, so kind of rounding out the big squad. So I'm a little dubious about this. You know that I've been a follower of the Star Wars comics on and off, but it's tough because like they crammed 3 years between episodes 4 and 5 into 75 issues, and now they're trying to create a series based on the 1 year gap between episodes 8 and 9 that is about the rise to power of Kylo Ren. I don't know. You know, I'm with you, Todd. We've got to move beyond. At least they've ended the original trilogy comics. But when you pack something in so tight to just this time period, and you're like, we're gonna do 100 issues that take place in a year's time frame. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the first issue will be great. I'm sure I'll take a look at some point.
Well, you know, you didn't get much more about Kylo Ren in his previous life, so I know Star Wars fans love to know every minute of every hour of every character, what they ate for lunch. So why not do it in comic form, Charlie?
Very granular. Now, I have followed the Star Trek comics on and off. LeRon, I don't know, are you a Star Trek comic guy?
I can be. I can be. I can be. Like, well, I mean, like I need to pick up because I think now there's the omnibus version of the events when Benjamin Sisko returns with the Starship Theseus. And I gotta pick that one up.
I've read quite a few of those, but this looks like it spins on from that. So this is the lore being LORE, Data's evil twin, and the crew of that ship. There's two. There's the Star Trek with Sisko, and then there's Defiant, which is Worf captaining the Defiant, but it's got Blonde Torres, Dr. Crusher is there, Tom Paris is there. So it's like they've got all these great legacy characters set, you know, immediately after those series end. So, and Laura is a major character, and Laura eventually obviously becomes Data again. That's what happens in Picard. But I am interested in that. Todd, you'll hate this. They're relaunching Amazing Spider-Man. Again, this has to be volume, I'm going to say 7 or 8. Who knows? Maybe I'll start. You know what? Maybe my New Year's resolution was I will start collecting this in print form again, so that my comic shop guy doesn't give me the dirty eye when I walk around and don't buy anything.
Have you stopped reading comics? No, just stopped buying from you.
I mean, he knows I do buy collectibles from him, and I always say I feel so bad I don't buy anything, but still.
I really don't understand the whole point of relaunching and rebooting all the time now. I don't know what it does. Does it like, because number one issues you typically bring people in, but maybe they should just make it like this is the run of the Spider-Man. It's called Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, and this is like a standalone story, and that's it. And then they just do that rather than have 100 like, oh, we're only going to go up to like issue 23. I'm like, and then it's starting again. I'm like, I don't know.
But again, I think you answered your own question. The big hook is the number one, and people say, oh, I'm getting in on the ground floor and then they start something like a softish reboot. You know, that must be it. So
it's a bag. Yeah.
That's all I see. Anything else here grabbing you?
Nope. That's about it, LeRon. And I mean, when it comes to comics, is there anything specifically you I know you talked about getting out of the X-Men. You've been out of that for a while. Is there anything in comics though that you do dig, or is it just something that you're kind of out of?
Just a couple of things that like definitely Lore War, like I'm interested in that one. You know, I don't know, like, because if it's not movies. If it's not streaming or broadcast television for Star Trek, I kind of take it for a grain of salt and stuff like that. But there's a lot of beta canon stuff that I just want to keep on top of, you know?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and with my boy Benjamin Sisko being back and stuff like that, yeah, I'm definitely like dialed in on that
especially since you'll know that you won't ever see Benjamin Sisko in a show again because Avery Brooke is retired and he's maybe a little bit nuts, but we don't need to talk about that.
I've watched The Captains several times, and it kind of breaks my heart. When we get to that part, but you know, at the same time, it's like, you know what, the man's done his lot for Queen and Country and Star Trek.
He did,
so,
and he gave us Hawk on Spencer.
Oh, yeah. Yes. The one thing that you guys did not mention that was I'm kind of into this whole New Gods thing.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know, in all honesty, it's kind of because like you know, like if you look on the cover, you've got Orion and you've got Big Barda and you got what's his name? The guy's always throwing a wrench in everybody's plans because he phases in and out of time and stuff like that. You know, honestly,
I know you're talking about has the chair.
I know the guy too. But he's the main dude, but he rides around in the chair.
Yeah,
I know the guy.
In all honesty, I probably would not have even thought about this New God series. It caught my eye though, because like I love Young Justice, and I feel like what they did with that character in Young Justice, put my interest on like Orion and Allfather and the whole dark side thing. So like I'm intrigued. So I'll at least maybe check out one or two issues of it, and see what's going on.
Good deal.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Marvel's Inhumans, Eternals, that kind of thing. And we have gotten like Darkseid's the best thing to come out of that, obviously, with New Gods and things like that. Yeah. Orion's a pretty cool character. So it is a hard read sometimes to get into, but there is one series, Mr. Miracle, came out, and it was written by, I can't remember. I'll make the recommendation. I'll send you the note about that, LeRon, that I think you might dig that book because it's highly revered. But so yeah, with getting the comics, I'm sure there'll be things I check into. We're doing the spinner rack, so our goal is always to pick up series and things like that. And then LeRon, if there's a book a comic book you want to talk about and maybe read and have us all read, we're always looking for people to come on the show and talk about comics. So maybe a one-off.
Maybe a Star Trek book. That would
maybe
be
a Star Trek book. Maybe I'll finally read one. Yeah. We'll see what it goes.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, now it's time for us to get into predictions. We're gonna do movies, TV, and I said comics/collectibles because it kind of left it up there. But basically, with movies, what do you think is gonna either happen in the world of movies, a specific franchise, maybe something that you think will become bigger than people expect? So, LeRon, we'll start with you. Movies.
Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna call this, and y'all know, like, it might get some hate, but you know what? If you guys want to talk to me about it, I do this all the time on my other podcast shows. You can hit me on all the socials at Exodus803, EXODUS803. I'm saying this right now: Superman is either going to completely revamp the entire DC extended universe, or Superman is going to be the start of the final nail in the coffin.
I had the exact same prediction, but one half of it. I'm going to say it will explode and DC will come back into its own. It will get back the absolute glory that was. When was the last time DC had glory?
Man of Steel?
Yeah. Well,
you could say the Dark Knight.
Dark Knight, yeah. When it was something that everybody loved. Like nobody could say, "Oh, I think the Dark Knight sucks." Nobody ever said that.
Now, the only reason why I'm saying this is because, like, I trust James Gunn. Me too. I like every project James Gunn has done, including the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. As a matter of fact, I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 like basically held up that phase of Marvel that was going on.
It was it was Superman holding up the big globe, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Ironically enough.
But the thing is, though, my problem is, like, Superman could introduce like some real franchise fatigue because, like, I mean, like, we're looking at disasters like the Flash and Shazam
that does make it dubious. I totally agree with you.
And Black Adam and stuff like that. So this is either going to fix it or this is going to be what the beginning of the end.
If The Rock couldn't fix it, who can?
I will never forget the sheer hubris of The Rock saying, "Well, I'm the guy now. I'm taking over," and then it just tanked, and they were like, "It was like he got Thanos snapped." He was gone.
Dude, listen to freaking Kendrick Lamar. Just be humble.
Oh my god!
Exactly.
All right,
okay.
Tom, what do you think? What do you think? Where you at?
No, I appreciate what you guys said because I mean, Superman. When people just see that, I'm wondering if they are just going to be like burned out to say, they've tried Superman before, they can't get it. I mean, Spider-Man got a lot of grace because of how he was introduced and kind of Pigeon versus having his movie first. So I hope people are open-minded enough to give this movie a chance. I really do. I mean, whether it's good or bad, I can't say, but I hope it gets. So for me, in the movies, I think that this is going to be a year where movies, hopefully they find a way to bring back audiences for something other than just blockbusters. I hope it is, because I think we need people to show up for movies that are good, not just for the biggest movies in the world.
Right.
Oppenheimer was kind of like the oddity in the group the previous year because that was a non-traditional movie that,
did really
was
well.
elevated.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw one on the list that's going to be like that, but even like rom-coms or something other than just action superhero films or like a gross out horror film. I want to see other movies get their light in the sun
Right.
And I hope there's some movies that can do that, because right
Right.
now it just feels like that is a recipe for getting a certain amount of people not into the theaters.
Right.
So hoping that's what we'll see. We'll see something franchisee.
Right.
Get some love. Okay,
That's
let's
right.
get to TV. LeRon.
Okay, so I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to TV because I feel like I miss more things than I actually catch when it comes to television. But the one thing I'm going to say about TV is I need all these companies from the streaming companies to just like the broadcast. You guys need to trust the audience. We're watching these things, and it really pisses me off because I just found out the franchise is not getting renewed for a second season.
I watched the first episode, really liked it, so I'm the problem, LeRon. I didn't keep watching it.
That's
Okay.
that is Todd's stock and trade. It's very on brand.
And Charlie
for
just
him.
doesn't watch it, so then he's like, "You don't blame me. I never watched it."
I'll watch it in 5 years, maybe. We'll see.
See, that's my problem too, because and I feel like the problem is that streaming changed the way I watch television, and it's sad
Everybody.
because we're Gen Xers, we are used to watching 13 to 26 episode seasons a year
Yes.
and being thoroughly entertained, and then
Over 9 months, yeah.
And then House of Cards and Game of Thrones did this thing where we're gonna throw you 8 to 10 episodes in a block
Today, watch
and then you're not gonna see anything about the show until a year later. And when I say a year later, I mean literally a year later, because they don't miss their windows of when they actually should air. So TV, I just need these companies to trust their audience and their viewership and stuff like that. They need to trust that people are watching the shows. If no one's watching the show, because certain things should not be getting canceled, when they barely cooled off,
listen to the buzz. And again, I hearken back to, and this was 10 years ago, Agent Carter was a great show that had a following of people that buzzed about it and loved it, but it had low traditional ratings, and it was killed.
I was mad. I was mad because if anything, Agent Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were helping each other out. I was really mad about Agent Carter getting canceled.
Yeah, they were kind of onesie twosie. So
yeah,
gotcha.
So wait, so LeRon, you're hoping studio executives will actually do something smart.
Yeah. Nice summary. Nice summary. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right, but
I was gonna say, wow, LeRon, you're a very optimistic person. I like that.
Oh well, I mean, you have to be optimistic because for someone who's a fan of a lot of these characters and stuff like that, I trust. Well, with the exception of some writing rooms, I trust the writers' room when they're creating this, putting this stuff together.
Right.
So is the execs, and I'm not sure what the problem is. I'm these shows are going to make you money. I mean, but it's on broadcast television, so it's not going to make you a super amount of money. You just got but it's steady income from you. So why the hell are you wasting time and wasting money, cutting stuff out that and then developing something new that might crash and burn just as hard.
My. Well, I'll make it quick. And Todd, he says, we don't talk about streaming. But I'm going to talk about streaming. We were in this golden era where Netflix, there's no commercials, Hulu, there's no commercials, Disney Plus, there's no commercials. And slowly but surely, that commercial-free tier is just getting priced out because you can't have 5 to 6 streamers that are all $20 a month. So April and I have buckled down to the point where we're going with a lot of the ad-supported options. And I think the more that happens, the less those ad-free options. People are just really understand that it's going to go back to the way it used to be. People bitch about, I don't want to pay for ads and this thing and that thing, but it's what gets the programs made. I grew up in a broadcast streaming world because my mom, that's where I got that poster. My mom worked at a TV station selling advertising. So I get it and it doesn't bother me. Plus we live in an era where you can just look at your phone and the ad goes away. So let it happen. It's whatever. But I think you'll see so many more people gravitating towards it that it'll be very niche to have a streamer that doesn't have ads, even during a movie. But still, you could be like, all right, well, back in the day, if this was, the Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday night, that's when I go and have a whiz or get some popcorn or something. You know what I mean? So I think what's old is going to be new again when it comes to ads and streaming.
I just hope if we are going to get ads, being a bigger part of it, let's make them better.
No,
and not repeat
not
the
gonna
same
happen.
ad 85 times. That is the worst. Be smarter about how they do the ads and make the ads better. I mean,
Well, I
and
think-
I like it when you get the
Yeah.
show is brought to you by,
Yeah.
and then they
you're
don't
right.
interrupt the content.
2-minute commercial, like limited interruptions brought to you by Verizon Wireless, as opposed to just like you said, I watch my morning news, my local Fox station, and I'll see the same ad 5 times in a row. And that's the commercial break. So
I can only take so many drug ads for, I don't know, whatever.
We're getting car ads now in Spanish. That's a big one, like Volkswagen, but it's in Spanish. I'm like, I mean, that's, this is a largely Hispanic. There's a big Hispanic population in my town, so I guess I get it. But still, 5 times in a row, please don't.
Or I like where you get ads that aren't even like in your state. Like I get ads for like Iowa.
Yeah.
Why am I getting Iowa ads?
Get some corn.
Yeah.
All right, Todd. What
Come
about
to the
you?
Butt Hut. For me on TV, I mean, it's kind of like it's going to be a mixed bag because I do feel like this is the year that we're going to see consolidation again, where they're saying basically at this point, Peacock, Max, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, Stars, Epic, all of these, MGM Plus, they are basically saying it's unsustainable to have so many netlets that you have to pay separately for. Mm-hmm. They just don't support it. So I'm guessing we're going to see some consolidation. And quite honestly, I would love it if somebody stole WB away from Warner Brothers, away from Zaslav, because he's a big idiot. And I would love it if Apple took it and could filter shows to Apple TV Plus, because it seems like they get it. They are great. They love great TV content and they do a good job with it, but probably not going to happen. But that's what I'm going to probably see, is expecting to see consolidation where more services go into one. And along with that, Charlie, I'm hoping, and you and I think we're going to see more of this, though. Netflix is already doing this. I think we're going to see a lot more shows that are dropping weekly rather than the binge watch. Netflix has already started doing this because binge watching, it's great for a certain amount of people, but for the majority of people who don't have so much disposable time, they just can't catch up. They feel like they're behind, and so they say, well, maybe I shouldn't watch it now because I'm behind or I'll get spoiled. And then a show basically, then if it doesn't get watched in the first 3 weeks,
it gets canceled.
It gets canceled. So shows don't have the time to find an audience. So I'm hoping we can get away from that, because shows over time, if they're dropped weekly, they tend to get more attention. People can talk about it and it can build an audience. And I think people are so, and I could probably speak to younger audiences. They just aren't used to that. But you know what? You can't assume because something has happened in the last 10 years that that's the trend for all future. Things tend to be, change. I remember everyone said after 9/11, everything would change. Well, it didn't. It went back to where it was. After COVID, everything will change. It'll go back the way it went back the way it was. So I'm hoping we get to a point where shows have room to grow, they get an audience and have more discussion. So the cream rises to the top. It's not just Love is Blind season 25.
Yeah, people go back with the familiar, and what's familiar is on Thursday. Now, like on Thursday, I watch blank show. Well, maybe I watch it in the morning, maybe I watch it in the evening, maybe I watch it at lunchtime, but it's still there on Thursday, and I can count on it. People get into routine, so I totally dig that. So, all right, well, let's finish it with comics/collectibles. LeRon, break it down. What do you got?
The only thing I'm going to say, and this is more on the collectible side. The only thing I want to say is, like, find a way to give us better quality without inflating the price. Because I swear, like, I've seen some collectibles that are an exorbitant amount of money that are basically built like shit.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna name names. Like a Predator.
You can.
I was actually in the comic books. I was actually in the comic book shop a couple months ago. They had the Yalta figurines from the Predator series and stuff like that. And I was like, what is this thing built of? Because like my comic book shop owner trusts me, and it was definitely one of those ones where he had like a surplus of them, so he wasn't really like upset if one of them was going to get opened. So he let me check it out and stuff like that. And we both were sitting there marveling at the counter, like, what is this thing made out of? It looks like if you put it under the right light, it's going to melt.
It's tin, or it's wax.
How expensive was that thing?
It was $195.
That shouldn't be cheap. Yeah, shouldn't be cheap then.
Yeah, and that was not a price he made up. That was not him inflating the price. Like you know,
Right.
I think ultimately he only overcharged by like $10 on it. So it wasn't like
Yeah.
he blew up the price. Yeah,
And those guys can't afford to do that. I mean, I've been going to the same comic shop my whole life. They have a new owner in the last couple of years. It's a couple, they're friends of ours, and it's the same thing. Plus, the distribution channel is a mess. But we could get into talking about how bad that is with Diamond and all that kind of different stuff. But yeah, you're right. They when you get this methodology, and that'll tie into mine as well.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. It was one of the it was one of the Predators from the AVP movies because it was definitely one of the big like hook claws,
which is just super niche, in this day and age, because that movie was almost 25 years ago. It was like 2002. I'll jump in and say on the lower end, big box retailers, Walmart, Target, Meijer, which is here in the Midwest. I think you're going to see more and more of them dropping adult. When I say adult action figures, I mean Star Wars Black Series, Marvel Legends, McFarlane, Sextile. Wait, the Sextile's still mail order. Those. Nobody buys any of that stuff. It all ends up on clearance, and it all ends up. I don't know if in Virginia, where you live, LeRon, they have Ollie's. Does that store sound familiar to you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And Todd, I don't know if they have in Minnesota, but they have several here in Michigan. Most everything from Marvel Legends to the Star Wars figures ends up in Ollie's selling for $10.
Yeah,
on figures that are now at an MSRP between $24.99 and $27.99.
Yes.
So I think you're going to see more of these stores saying this is a total waste for us. Even if and Todd, you work in logistics, but even if we have this huge volume and it's blah blah blah, it's cheaper for us to sell them for $10 because we bought them for $5. I don't know.
That's what we call the fire sale channel in retail. So basically, if you can't get rid of something, you got light inventory, you ship it off, and it goes to them, and you take you're getting paid like 50 cents for the dollar by those retailers. So you're not making any money. Yeah. So I totally get it. Yeah. I mean,
how long could it go on? Because it's
taking up shelf space.
It's been a building trend for at least the last, I'd say, 5 years. So I start to see, and I end up putting all that stuff on my Amazon wish list. I watch for it to drop, and when the price gets low enough, if I'm in the mood to buy something, I'll snag it from Amazon, and it'll be here in 2 days. That's the tough part. That's the tough part. So
it just becomes Meijer and Target shops and retail, like specialty retail, things like that online.
Right. Yeah. Which again, to what LeRon's talking about, I love my LCS. I love my guys at Argos. So I will go there, and I even said, hey, I want these 2 figures from the Secret Wars line. It's the Beyonder and Titania. It was the only 2 new figures in that line. And I said, I'd like to buy them for you because I'd like to put some money in your pocket, not Target, if I ever see them. So that's what I'd like. So anyway, all right, Todd, take us home. What is your big prediction?
My prediction is, I think because the way the industry is going with comics, I think we're going to see more focus on getting away from weeklies to more like we're going to see more trades and those collected editions. I just think they work a lot better, and they are better suited, especially like the manga collectibles have gotten really big because it's a collection rather than you only get one issue at a time. So I think that's going to be big. And I think the other thing in collectibles is we're going to see more of these weird niche things that are going to be handed, to your point, through like Maddie Toys, through Mondo, through like the even Walmart has their like
Pulse,
things like that. Because even I saw this. You love this, Charlie. LeRon hates it. That I love these things, but Transformers keeps doing these weird mashups. Like they did Knight Rider, they did like
such crap.
But they have the ones that I saw that's going to be announced to me is amazing. I love it. It's so dumb, but I love it. It's the Masters of the Universe crossing over to Transformers, and they basically made them up like Skeletor as Megatron. It is so ridiculous. I love it, and I want to get them all. You've got like the Man at Arms. It's a robot with a mustache. What could be better than that?
God,
the only Transformers like mashup that I've loved to this point was the Transformers meets Monster Hunter, because like we had some badass fucking Transformers based off of freaking Rathalos and Zenogre, and I was like, oh my god, like I don't have the money to spend on this, but I want them.
Yeah, I totally agree that niche is going to be the way, and direct sale is going to be the way, because the retail channel is just not supporting it. The kids are not interested in this stuff.
It's all for the old. It's all for the old.
It's adult toys. It's adult
Exactly.
toys.
Adult toys, but not like that.
Not like that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, that and this has been a supersized one, but that is the show. God, we had so much fun talking. LeRon, you are going to be on Code 47 very soon. You and I need to talk after we get offline. And yeah, Todd has thrown the gauntlet down that over on Spinner Rack, which is one of our Patreon shows. We're going to talk about hopefully a Star Trek comic, the three of us at one point. So I'm totally down. But LeRon, you have been great. Where do people find you out there?
I'm a member of the Boss Rush Network, so head over to bossrush.net for the website, and you see everything else that we're all involved and affiliated in. Like I said earlier, catch me on all my socials at Exodus803, EXODUS803. You can find me on Twitter for now. I've made the move to Blue Sky.
Yay!
Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. And I do have, and also Exodus803. You can also find my YouTube channel where where I haven't really posted anything new, but you can find everything from my previous podcast show, the Crossroads Podcast, where we talked about PlayStation, PC, and Xbox gaming.
Awesome. Todd, what about you?
You can follow me on the threads at Toxtra and at Secret Friends Unite with dots in the middle, I believe. Or maybe that's the other one around. I don't know.
Not.
And then at Blue Skies, at Todd Oxtra, at Secret Friends Unite, maybe with or without dots.
Minus with sounds like you're ordering fries at Burger King. You can find me on the socials that I like, which would be Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram as the C3, TheCeeThree. Search for that. Also spend a hell of a lot of time in our awesome Secret Friends Unite Discord. That is where our big chats are going on. We do of course still have a presence on Facebook, but we're getting much more interactivity over on Discord, so join us over there. I also run a Discord, and LeRon will get you involved in this called the United Trekkers of Michigan, where we just love talking about Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
And the Michigan part is really not that big of a deal. But with that, friends, as always, I'm going to tell you thank you for joining us. Sharing is caring, and keep on trucking.
Be the hero, not the villain.
In a truck.
Mother, may I sleep with danger?
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.